For a person whose company is redefining what it means for an automobile to be self-driving with no supervision, Elon Musk has shared some very public and very contradictory opinions about the industry-favored sensor for automated driving, Lidar. Speaking at the Autonomy Day for Investors event organized by Tesla in 2019, Elon Musk had referred to the sensor, which companies like Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Ford, and Volvo used as a fool's errand. In the business world, such a statement wouldn't be enough to incite any form of debate or argument since it is an individual's opinion. But with the recent reports on an accident that occurred when a Tesla Model 3 couldn't evade an obstacle, there are some questions that must be asked and answered regarding Elon Musk's assumed position of correctness on his refusal to use Lidar. Towards the end of 2020, a Twitter user announced that they had been involved in a crash with an unmoving semi-truck, and while they survived it, their Tesla Model 3 was badly damaged. While this could have been a simple sad event, there are a few eyebrow-raising parts that made this so much more than an average car crash. Firstly, there is the fact that way before colliding with the statutory truck on the highway, the driver had activated the driver assist features for Autopilot on the Tesla Model 3. Then there's also the fact that this obstruction wasn't even a moving object. It was just an overturned semi-truck leaning on the highway, and yet the Tesla Model 3 couldn't detect it or change lanes to avoid it. Lastly, there's the part of the driver's divided or distracted attention, because the Tesla cars are yet to be fully autonomous. The company itself suggests supervision for traffic-aware cruise control, and though the cameras and radar sensors missed it, there was no way that the person driving the Tesla Model 3 could have missed that overcoming semi-truck if they had been paying attention. Now, with Elon Musk's repeatedly acclaimed confidence in the abilities of the radar, cameras, and ultrasonic sensor combo in the Tesla cars, it would appear that his beliefs are falling short of standard, and it wouldn't be the first time. Back in 2015, Elon Musk had said, during a conference, that the technology behind Lidar doesn't make sense for a car, and he added that, for full autonomy, a more comprehensive sensor suite and computer systems are fail-proof. Keeping aside the fact that it has been almost 5 years and his methods still aren't fail-proof or fully autonomous, just a year after that conference, a 2016 Tesla Model S was involved in a fatal collision. And you guessed right, it had also been set on autopilot. If as far back as 2016, the Tesla Autopilot performance was limited by the cameras, ultrasound, and radar object detect sensors, without the addition of Lidar, then it is quite obvious that there's a problem. But what exactly is the solution? Could it be Lidar? Well, considering the fact that it is the only thing that has been missing in the features of the Tesla Autopilot featured cars all these years, then that just might be it. So what is Lidar? Lidar is a type of sensor that is used to detect objects in real time. Light detection and ranging, also known as the acronym Lidar, is an adaptable technology setup that consists of 3 primary components: the scanner, laser, and GPS receiver. The Lidar device projects laser beams that bounce off objects, creating a map with high resolution in real time. Before being introduced into the world of automobiles, Lidar had been incredibly beneficial to the biological industry, architecture, law enforcement, and outer space exploration, among other industries. The technology of scanning a perimeter and presenting real-time designs and layouts is invaluable, especially for partially autonomous cars. Since the cars are designed to optimize their sensors in navigating through general and specific scenarios, having a system like Lidar solves the problem of misreading or miscalculation. Lidar notes landscapes, buildings, foliage, and many other geographical attributes that other sensors ignore. Lidar provides metrically accurate information about the distances between the car and other objects, and people, both statutory and moving. It can create fast 3D presentations to guide the driver while achieving the best outcome in the autopilot setting. One of the best things about the Lidar features and attributes is the fact that they are compatible with the radio frequency system of the radar sensor, despite their differences. Lidar versus Tesla. Elon Musk. For anyone who has ever heard Elon Musk talk about, or rather against, Lidar technology, it almost sounds like it is always an irrefutable perspective, until you conduct an in-depth research into Lidar on its own. Globally reputable companies like Google and Apple have introduced the Lidar sensory technology to their products as a way of improving user experience, especially with location scanning processes. Based on the track record of successes associated with using Lidar technology for real-time scanning, measurements, and presentations, it becomes quite evident that adopting this sensor system for driverless cars is simply the ideal route. But Elon Musk has opposed the mere thought of it for as long as we can remember, and quite verbally too. In manufacturing the Tesla automobiles, Elon Musk and his team have been using radars, cameras, and ultrasonic sensors. The radar technology transmits electromagnetic energy towards target objectives, and the returning echoes are used to detect, locate, and recognize objects within the vicinity. Radar sensors are great for determining location and velocity, but that's where the benefits end. With radar sensors, you have to deal with low resolutions and no actual information on the sizes and compositions of the objects. Cameras, on the other hand, provide the visual aspect that is lacking in radar sensors by creating multiple perspectives, displaying street signs, and navigation instructions like turn signals. Lastly, there are ultrasonic sensors that calculate the distance between the car and other objects by measuring the bounce back to the sensor radio frequency, which is below the hearing ability of the average individual. The ultrasonic sensor is unable to transmit beyond 3 meters, so the geographic information acquired is limited to a short range, which is not particularly helpful to self-driving cars, especially in situations where there is a lot of traffic. Unlike the Lidar sensor that can scan up to 5 or 6 cars ahead, in motion or statutory. The combined implementation of these sensors in the manufacturing of an autopilot car results in a smart car with only a vague understanding of the environment. The Lidar sensor can easily fill up for the lapses in radar, cameras, and ultrasonic sounds through laser scans that cover roofing and 3D build, which can easily be cross-referenced with the visuals of the cameras. However, rather than add Lidar to the technological layout of his cars, Elon Musk has chosen instead to advance efforts in machine learning through CAPTCHA data information. Tesla will continue to maintain its radar, cameras, and ultrasound sensor system, but with the advancement in machine learning, the interpretation of information would increase significantly. Nevertheless, the Tesla cars will remain vulnerable to failure and challenges due to the limitations of the current sensor suite, unless necessary modifications are made, like including Lidar sensors. Why did that crash happen? There are several angles to consider when dismantling the case of the crash between the Tesla Model 3 car and the overturned semi-truck on the highway. Incomplete sensor suite. Radar, cameras, and ultrasonic sensors are great components for a sensor suite. In fact, they are 3 of the 4 main sensors that are essential for building practical and safe self-driving cars, but they remain incomplete without the technology of Lidar sensors. When the 3 are present in the manufacturing process of a car, without Lidar, there will be good performance as we've seen in the Tesla cars, but they won't be at full potential. The crash that happened in 2020 could have been avoided if there was a Lidar sensor on the car. Components of the Lidar technology would have scanned the semi-truck, even in its statutory position, and immediately interpreted the situation to suggest an aversion to the autopilot system. The Tesla Model 3 involved in this accident, like the Model S that had the collision in 2016, comprised of a sensor suite that only had radar, ultrasonic, and cameras. The car only registered an obstruction without registering its size or potential damage to the Tesla car and its occupants. Inefficient autopilot mode. When the sensor suite is incomplete, as we have just mentioned, the advanced driver assistance systems become inefficient. The resources required for the best outcome, such as clear visuals, accurate measurements, and fast interpretation through the sensors, are limited. This inefficiency was the case in this crash, when the autopilot mode was unhelpful in avoiding the overturned semi-truck. Driver negligence. Being able to switch to an autopilot and simply supervise the car as it self-drives, with your hands on the wheel, is supposed to be one of the perks of the smart cars that Tesla manufactures. However, the misuse of this perk can lead to negligence. Like in some cases, we've heard of drivers falling asleep while the car is on autopilot. In this case, the form of negligence is unknown, but the size of the semi-truck would have caught the attention of anyone concentrating even at the barest minimum. So the driver hadn't been concentrating, leaving it up to the car, even after the makers had specified that it wasn't a fully autonomous vehicle. Wrapping up, Lidar is a type of sensor technology that is optimized by companies who develop self-navigating gadgets and cars, except Tesla. With Elon Musk repeatedly bashing the idea behind Lidar, we can only hope that his foray into advanced machine learning technology would yield better results than the current sensor suite that they use for their cars. Lidar is the holistic component to perfect the design of an advanced driver assistance systems, and it offers great potential for manufacturing a fully autonomous car. With Tesla's affinity for being the groundbreaking innovator, it would be the best that they key into the Lidar sensor technology before one of their competitors accomplishes the manufacturing and road testing of a completely self-powered car. Remember to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to our channel, and smash that notification bell. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.